We know you like talking Star Wars. We like talking Star Wars. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. This is The Wars and More.
Oh my God, are we really hearing that awful, dreaded word? Reshoots? Oh my God, Star Wars is doomed! This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing, pretty well.
You sound panicked.
Yeah, so reshoots.
Right.
That's like the death nail for like film, right? Like,
yeah, it's all over.
So yeah, The Rise of Skywalker is having reshoots, just like every other movie ever made.
Right.
It's one of those things that it always cracks me up. I mean, we talked about this really with every film so far since we've been doing this show, right?
Yeah, I'd have to say so.
Every time one of these films enters reshoots, it's panic, panic, panic.
So have we heard yet that George Lucas is giving his opinion, so we have to like halt production and like redo the film or something? Or
let me look. No.
Oh, gotcha.
No, not at all.
Because those type of rumors always pop up when this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, George saw the film and he hates it.
Right. Yeah.
And like, it's really weird because all of a sudden Disney gives a damn what George Lucas thinks.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing right there we got to remember, isn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure they're like, hey, you sold it. Shut up.
Right. I mean,
not really. I kid.
Yeah, well.
I mean part of that's there.
Did he walk in and see it and go, hey, you could have messed it up. And you did. Oh, no. Instead of, it could have went really wrong.
But it didn't.
But it didn't. Yeah.
It's all good. Nope, that didn't happen at all. Nope, this is your, like I said, your standard news. So let me, this is from Wired.com.
Okay.
And so the source for this is multiple online accounts or multiple online outlets.
I mean, is there a more reliable source? I mean,
yeah, because it's on the internet. It's got to be true.
Right.
I mean, they might as well said Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's on Facebook,
yeah,
it's truth, man. Or even better, Twitter.
Etched in stone. Got it.
Yes. So it says probability of accuracy. It would certainly appear to be true. It definitely checks out in terms of timeline before a movie gets released.
Okay.
Yep, that checks out.
Yeah.
But then it says the real deal. Apparently, additional shoots are underway for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, with a couple of sources reporting that Black Park in the UK has been closed off for either reshoots or pickups, with an X-Wing fighter being part of the additional shoots.
Huh.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Pickups would definitely be very viable.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that really gets muddied sometimes is it actual reshoots of scenes or is it just like pickup shots, you know?
Right. So what you're trying to differentiate here is like the difference of what we might have seen in like The Last Jedi versus what we saw with Rogue One.
Yes, or Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not a Rogue One or Solo situation. If they were in that boat at this point in the game, December is not viable.
Right.
So Rogue One and Solo, for anyone who's keeping score, those were heavy reshoots. Those were bringing in new directors and overhauling films.
Right. Yeah.
Everything that's being talked about with The Rise of Skywalker right now is nothing near that. Like, even if you go to the sources that are whole on freaking out, they're not saying that a new director's coming in and you know, they're reshooting tons of the movie. No. They're saying this same stuff. It's either reshoots or pickups.
Right.
But the sky is falling.
Well, you know, I mean, you always got to, like, come up with some sort of a good reason why, you know, the latest installment of a Star Wars film was going to be the end of the world, I guess.
Right. So I guess what's kind of putting people into a panic, and albeit not as big of a panic as like Rogue One or Solo, but what's kind of sending people into a little bit of a panic, I think, is the timeline that's being discussed.
Right.
And they're saying that shooting might continue through early September.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, that's a little late in the game.
Yeah, that does feel like it's pushing the envelope a little bit time-wise. Now, you know, it's going to all depend on what these shots are of, right? I mean, are they get pretty, you know, are these going to be CGI filled shots, you know, having to do a bunch of composite work on it and all that, or are they going to be pretty much a practical shot, right? Something that,
right,
you know, adjust the lighting, good to go, insert it into the film, call it a day.
Yeah, because,
you know,
we're talking about the difference between those two words, reshoots and pickups, right?
Right.
This is pickup shots going into September. Big deal.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's big deal. And that's what you're saying. That's adjusting lighting, you know, maybe a different angle.
Right.
That's because stuff isn't flowing necessarily the way they like it.
Right.
That's not going, wow, this scene sucks, let's reshoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if there's any franchise that's almost famous for this sort of thing, right? This, we're going to create the movie in the editing room. It's Star Wars, right? I mean, George was famous for that, you know, but he also had this kind of, you know, vision in his own head to where when he's out there in Tunisia directing, you know, he knows if he's got the shot that he's looking for, right? So I think, and I guess it would be kind of the same way with JJ, but you know, he's more establishment, I guess. George was always kind of like the rebel filmmaker, you know. So I don't know. I'm not going to panic until they say, yeah, they've extended their option for shooting into October now.
Yeah, so for me, this is not, I don't worry about this because they're doing some shots at Black Park in the UK.
Right?
Right? If they were heading back out to Tunisia,
right, well, yeah.
I'd be like, crap.
Yeah. But, yeah,
well, they wouldn't be going to Tunisia.
Right. The Wadi Rum or whatever, right?
Wadi Rum.
So, yeah, again.
My bad, different desert planet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, yeah, I see what you're saying there. I mean, because that would be a whole different scale of things that they have to undergo.
Right.
Because you're dragging production crew out there. Ooh, that's a big issue. But, again, you know, all these special effects people, right? All the people that work on the movie up until the week before it's released. I would have to say that these people are no stranger to, you know, those 12, 16-hour days, moving up to a release of a movie, especially something like Star Wars. So, I'm sure there's going to be some late nights ahead for those folks, but, that's probably par for the course.
Yeah, I doubt anyone goes into a Star Wars production thinking, well, I'm going to get a ton of sleep during this.
Yeah. Right.
Like, wow, this is going to be easy. No, this is Star Wars.
Right.
And not only is it Star Wars, but this is the conclusion of a saga.
Yeah. Well, they've said it before, man. This is going to be the one, right? This is going to be the film that can stand on its own. It completes this trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and all 9 episodes of the Skywalker saga. So, those are big shoes to fill right there.
Yeah, and that's definitely the earmarks of a film that, like, if the lighting in a shot is wrong, yeah, you're fixing it.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's the way I'd like to look at this, right? Is that they're starting to see stuff now at this point in the production where they're like, this could be better, so let's go make it better.
Right.
So.
And we've all heard JJ talk throughout this production. He's not messing around.
Right.
He understands the gravity of what this undertaking is.
Yeah, totally.
So nothing but the best is going to suffice. So I'm not worried, personally. I think this is just par for the Star Wars filmmaking process.
Yes. Yeah. Have to agree. I'm not worried. Like I said, they push these reshoots out into October or something, then you might start to sweat a little bit.
Agreed. All right. Well, what next? Well, Resistance. So if you've been wanting to refresh yourself on Resistance before season 2, you're going to get your chance real soon. Because Resistance, the complete season 1, is coming to DVD August 20th.
Nice.
Which I believe the only date we've heard, so the only, insinuation of a date that we've heard so far is fall for season 2.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So August 20th, that is kind of hinting to me that it's going to probably be in early October if I had to take just a stab at it.
Okay.
Get this out. You get time to watch it, refresh yourself.
Right.
Here's the new stuff.
Right.
It's always the complete season being released that kind of foreshadows the new season coming.
Right. Yeah, it's usually how it works.
So that's exciting because I've seen episode 1 of season 2.
Ah, yeah.
And I'm really excited for season 2. So hearing any news out of the Resistance camp right now is kind of exciting.
Excellent.
So I'll be looking to pick this up and, burn through it again.
Right on. So, okay, let me ask you this real quick. Like, I don't want you to go into any detail because you have not spoiled me on that first episode. So, but for those of us who have seen season 1 of Resistance, I can only assume, right, that season 2 obviously picks up where season 1 left off, and like they're getting ready to, I don't know, get right into the thick of things. I'm guessing. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'll say this much about it. 'Cause I've made this my stance since I saw this at Celebration that I don't want to talk about it 'cause it's not really out there.
Okay.
It's out there if you really dig.
Right.
but not everybody's talking about it. So I don't want to be that guy. It's one of those things that I feel that, they treat us to things like this at these events.
Right.
And I would hate for that to get ruined.
Right.
By a lot of people talking about it. So I'm of the camp that, hey, I'm going to honor what they said. Hey, don't go spoiling this for everybody. This is a treat for you.
Right.
So I'm doing that. Because I'll tell you what, if I spoiled any of this for you, you'd be upset with me, honestly.
Okay.
Because there's a lot going on in the first episode.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on. And the one thing I will say is it picks up almost immediately after the last season left off.
Okay.
It's very linear. There's not a big time gap. Almost none.
Huh. Okay. That's cool.
So, yep. Staying spoiler free there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking back to where season 1 left off. I know, Kaz and Yeager and all them were like, they just basically pull off a narrow escape, and I don't know. I'm thinking you have some veterans on board this Colossus station and some young hotshot pilots and stuff, and they're gonna want to get back at the First Order. Is the way I'm feeling, but who knows? We'll see.
Right.
Don't tell me.
I won't. I won't. But I guess I'll say one more thing about it.
Uh-oh.
The direction that Resistance was heading.
Yeah.
Okay. With the feel of the show and things like that, is a trend that continues.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's getting a lot more serious, a little heavier.
In a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be still some of the...
Like, keep in mind, it's episode 1 of the next season, so...
Yeah.
It's not going to get, like, real heavy out the gate. But there are some moments that, yes.
Cool.
It takes up that... It picks up that momentum.
Right.
Right where it left off.
Well, that's good to hear for the people who, maybe didn't get past the first half dozen episodes of season 1 because it was almost a little too campy, so that's good to hear. Because I think
I've heard that, I've heard people tell me, I've had people tell me that they didn't really like how it was very young audience oriented.
Right.
And it just didn't really grab them, which is fair.
Yes.
The beginning of the show, I was even a little, like, okay, it's obviously not aimed at me.
Right.
But as the show went on, I thought they did a good job of staying true to the audience that they were targeting when they came out the gate.
Right.
But doing more stuff that would capture a broader audience. Particularly like the parents of the kids who are watching the show.
Right. So
now you were doing something that was going to bring the family together with the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Because towards the end of season 1, it definitely got juicier. I'll say that.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For sure. And I think that whole, like I said, instead of being just younger audience focused, it's more, and I'll say family focused.
Okay.
It's cool. More getting the whole family involved and getting the whole family not just involved, because a lot of Star Wars parents are going to watch whatever Star Wars comes out with their kids if their kids are interested.
Right.
Because one, their kids are getting interested in Star Wars. This is the gateway.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it's a fair assessment to say that most parents really want to share Star Wars with their kids, but they're hesitant at what's a good entry age.
Yeah. The womb was my entry age for my kids.
But you understand what I'm saying. Like,
I do.
And it's not just because Star Wars is not super adult anyway. It's really not.
Right. When you, yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know, Star Wars is very, very kid friendly.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing for parents is, okay, at what age is a kid going to understand the story, right?
Yeah.
Not so much what's an appropriate age because of the content, because it's not overly violent.
No.
You know, when it comes to a series that's based on war, Star Wars is pretty tame.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part.
You know, it's very light, and it handles it in a way that's, one, it's not overly gory. It's not overly, adult situations and things like that. Most of that is, funny way to put it, it's very Disney.
Ah, nice.
And I know that's probably not going to be the most popular way of putting it, but just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've watched plenty of Disney films and animation, things like that, there is a lot of content within those that would catch the attention of adults, but will fly right by kids.
Yes. Yes, totally.
And I think Star Wars has done that since its inception.
Yeah, totally.
It's got a lot of content that, adults will catch on to, and plenty of content for kids to be amazed.
Right.
And, that's probably why George Lucas said that Disney was the perfect fit.
That would make a lot of sense.
Understood.
Yeah, that would totally make sense because, that's probably, looking at it from the other side, what was so appealing to Disney about purchasing Star Wars. So, yeah, awesome.
Yep, putting it that way is that, this is a product that they can market towards kids, which is their audience.
Right.
And they don't have to limit what they market, because nothing of the old material is unfit for kids.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, hell, the most risque thing in Star Wars is Leia in the metal bikini.
Yeah.
So you ain't got really that kind of content to worry about.
Right. And really, that film was PG. The PG-13 film, the original one, right, was Sith. So,
right.
And that was because of how Anakin became Vader, really. His fight with Obi-Wan.
Was it really that fight that did it? I thought it was, but I thought the kind of straw that broke the camel's back there was the whole Jedi Temple stuff.
I can't say for sure, but
because I thought it was the idea of killing younglings that kind of, pushed it over the edge.
I can't say for sure. I honestly don't know. But
I mean, although the final scene, of that battle on Mustafar,
yeah,
that's about as gory as Star Wars gets.
Right. And that's exactly what I was referring to.
When he burns up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the hero of the story up to that point. Getting burned alive, So.
Yeah, and before that, I mean, did you even really see blood in Star Wars until The Force Awakens?
No.
Like, I think there was, times where you saw a little bit. You saw a little bit on Padme in the Geonosian arena.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But that was very minimalist.
Yeah, and really, that was from one of those creatures, right? That was not like a human on human contact.
Yeah, not like the human hand smearing a handprint of blood across the
Finn's
Stormtrooper mask.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, pretty tame. Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com. All right, so The Mandalorian. Mandalorian's coming, and we got a dollar amount for what this thing costs per episode.
Wait a minute, wait. We already had a dollar amount for what this cost.
Yeah, scratch that.
Uh-oh.
So you remember the last dollar amount, right? It was $10 million an episode?
Yeah, well, so they said $100 million for 10 episodes.
Yes.
Which
so
breaks down to 10 per, yeah.
Okay. Got a stab at the new number?
Oh, no. Let me guess. They came in way under budget.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. They saved money making Star Wars.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
No. $15 million.
Whoa.
Per
episode.
Yes.
Wow. So that's overshooting the budget by 50%.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because you think about it, like, we talk about this all the time. Like, I'm not a film executive, right?
Right.
But if I were a film executive and someone come into my office and said, I got a great idea for a TV series.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be this, and this, and this. Great. Okay. What does it cost? $15 million an episode. Get the hell out of my office.
Yeah, really.
You know, like, what was it like? I think it was Netflix that like raised eyebrows with House of Cards, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that was like what, $3 million an episode?
Oh, something. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And everybody was like, "That's nuts."
Here's something else. Now, I don't have these numbers in front of me or anything, but I'm recalling from memory. But I'm pretty sure George made A New Hope for $10 million in $77. $1976. But regardless, that's telling right there, isn't it?
Right. Let's just pull up those numbers real fast. So A New Hope budget. $11 million.
See? Oh my God.
So, arguably the most loved Star Wars film of all time.
Right.
Was made for $11 million.
Right.
Albeit in 76.
Yes.
But what would
adjusted for inflation, I have no idea.
Let's see if there's an adjusted for inflation value on this. Okay. So yeah, even the comparison here still makes this per episode deal ridiculous. Because adjusted for inflation, A New Hope would have cost $45 million.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So that is less than 20% of what The Force Awakens cost.
Yeah. That's insane. Oh my gosh. It's funny. There's a lot of stuff that was done back then that was so good, I think, because of they were so restricted by things like budget and availability of technology and all, that they had to come up with their own new technology, and it forced them to think way out of the box. And while it's really cool, like we got to see some stuff. Favreau was talking about it at his panel at Celebration, where you know how they were doing some of the visual effects and all that kind of stuff, and it's really cool. But it's like now they don't have to think so far out of the box, and any emerging technology, they've got it.
Right. Well, I mean, and how much of the material from A New Hope still gets recycled?
Oh, sure.
You know, sound effects and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, but you watch Rogue One, right? And some of the scenes in Rogue One,
yeah, absolutely,
are literally recycled footage.
Yeah.
From A New Hope.
Right. Some of the stuff that they cut from A New Hope.
Yeah.
Was in there. Yeah. I recognize those faces, those characters, those actors. And it's like unbelievable. I don't know. I just,
and some of them, you know, you didn't, I mean, and most of them, you know, they didn't reshoot that because one, they don't look like that anymore.
Exactly.
And two, some of them are dead.
Right.
So they're literally still using, like, that is the ultimate, like A New Hope is obviously the ultimate, like, cash cow, you know?
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
And for 20% of what The Force Awakens cost.
Yeah. 20% of Force Awakens for the cost of 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Right.
Wow. Oh.
3 episodes approach the cost of, you know, 3 episodes would be the adjusted for inflation cost.
Right.
That is insane.
That is insane.
And they did 10 of those.
Yeah. It's a television show. I can only imagine how fabulous his television show is going to be, because you're talking money like that being thrown at it. It's, God, it boggles the mind, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, $15 million. That is, whew. And if that wasn't enough, right? So they have a budget like that where they're spending, and that's, you know, that's probably like their average, right? There was probably some episodes that cost more, some that cost less.
Sure,
like
sure, yeah.
So they're saying about $15 million an episode. So most likely that's an average.
Right.
And you think about that, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. And on top of that, it hasn't even run an episode yet. No one's seen an episode of The Mandalorian.
Right.
And the next piece of news makes this even crazier, because Jon Favreau has started work on season 2.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So he has started writing episodes for season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Wow. So they must be so happy with what they've seen so far from season 1.
Yes.
That he's got the green light to go for season 2.
That they're like, $15 million?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Wow.
For a TV show. Man. I mean, all fanboyish comments aside, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I understand it's Star Wars.
Right.
It's Star Wars. Like, the fanboy side of me says, why wouldn't you spend $15 million an episode for Star Wars? It's Star Wars.
Of course. Yeah.
But the realistic side is like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Right.
Like, that is not something that, like, even watching the prequels and seeing everything that went into that and hearing how much money George was spending for this.
Right.
Would I have ever thought that one day we'd be talking about the $15 million episodes of a Star Wars TV series?
Yeah. I mean, that was part of
part of what kept George from making a television series of his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was too costly, and the technology wasn't quite there for him. So that's pretty much what we heard from him back then, before he made the sale. So obviously, with Disney owning Lucasfilm now, money's no object, right? They're proving that. I don't, man.
And this just makes me want to make another, what's the word? Sarcastic comment.
Yeah.
So I went to Celebration. I saw the attendance there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Disney's spending $15 million an episode on The Mandalorian. Wow. The internet's right, man. Star Wars is dead.
Right. Right.
'Cause I'll tell you what, if Star Wars is dead, yeah, $15 million is an episode for a TV series is suicide for a company.
Right. That's funny. It's funny you mentioned Celebration.
Yeah.
Because there was how many? There was 60,000 attendees.
Yep. Somewhere around there.
Right.
I don't remember
So-
the exact number, but it sounds right.
And they said Disney Plus is going to be what, about $8 a month, something like that.
Yeah, it was 7 something, right? Yeah,
Something like
so,
that.
Yeah, around $8 a month.
So if only the attendees of Celebration were the only ones to subscribe, which we know obviously isn't going to be the case, to Disney Plus, that's $480,000 a month. So you tack on everybody who will subscribe for all the Disney films, all the, the princess movies, right? All the Marvel stuff. Yeah, I got a feeling that they're going to be making their money back on these things quite well.
Yeah, I mean, now if they only tune in for The Mandalorian and it's only those 60,000, yeah, they're going to lose money. But
It's going to be way more. I
Right.
mean,
it's going to be...
that's my point, though. I mean,
Yeah.
just only the people who attended, because the reason I say that is because you can pretty much count on all of those attendees subscribing to Disney Plus, right? That number is going to be a really low number. I guess that's my whole point.
And I can speak to the excitement around The Mandalorian
Uh-huh.
because I went to the panel, so I got the poster,
Right.
right? And throughout the course of the day, dude, I wish I had a nickel for every time someone asked me, "You want to sell one of those?" Like, they were trying to buy my damn poster.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Right.
Like, as much as the sensible side of me is saying you can sell one of them,
Right.
the Gollum type side of me was like, my precious. So, but yeah, like that just speaks to the excitement around that series. It's just in my own personal account, people were trying to buy that poster from me.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
and there were 3 stages worth of people that got those.
Oh. So it wasn't like it was a rare thing.
I mean, it was limited to the people who got into the 3 stages
Sure.
in the lottery.
Okay.
But like I said, there was a significant amount of people that asked to buy mine.
Yeah.
So,
So there's a lot of interest there.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was enough interest. Like, it was almost every line I stood in.
Wow. That's cool.
So, people are excited about The Mandalorian.
Yeah, totally.
I think it'll do just fine. And this budget is going to seem like less of a big deal once everything works its way out.
Right. Well, I guess what this boils down to for me is my hope that having a budget like this is going to allow them the leeway to just make really good streaming television for us. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I mean, they're definitely justifying the cost for the fan.
Right.
All right. So yeah, you're spending $8 a month or whatever, but they're making TV series for this that they're spending $15 million an episode on.
Right.
So, it makes the $3 and $4 million an episode for House of Cards seem like chump change.
Right. It's funny because, man, so we've heard about there's going to be the Cassian Andor series coming up, and that you can only imagine simply because I'm thinking, right, his partner in crime is to be K2SO, right?
Yes.
So that alone is going to be an inherent cost in making that series, with all the stuff that's going to have to be done after shooting. So,
yeah, being that K2's a CGI character.
Right. So, there again, we're going to have another series that they're going to be putting money into. So,
well,
pretty cool.
I got to say this. I could not have done a better segue myself. Because the next thing we're going to talk about is the Cassian Andor series and Diego Luna. But rolling that into the budget talk here.
Yeah.
The Cassian series has Diego Luna.
Yes.
So you've already got a name.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So after Rogue One, and whatnot, Diego Luna he's top talent.
Right.
Okay. As well as they also have Alan Tudyk.
Right.
So what's the budget going to be for this thing?
Yeah, I know. They're going to be up there.
I mean, I guess Rogue One and this environment that they created for that has an advantage of simplicity, because that was one of the things that I think made Rogue One so fantastic.
Right.
Is because it really echoed that original trilogy simplicity.
Right. Yeah, totally.
And not going overboard with, too much crazy CGI action, right?
Right.
So that plays into that TV series thing, just on they could probably keep budgets down a little bit because of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But at the same time, you're bringing in actors from a blockbuster film.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's true, right? And again, this is something we've talked about before, right? I personally, I've said it before, think filmmaking is moving towards streaming, right? Direct to streaming in a big way.
Yeah, it's definitely making that move.
Because you have actors like Diego Luna, of Rogue One fame, like doing Triple Frontier for Netflix, doing Cassian series for Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. It's like he has no problem with, this I guess new era of filmmaking. It's
no, and we'll talk more about why he has no problem with like the Star Wars stuff. But I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Your newer actors are much more warmed up to the idea of doing something like this.
Yes.
And obviously it's because this is what they're used to seeing. They're used to seeing a lot of this.
Right.
And more of it. So yeah, making a move to streaming. And the other thing that I was kind of thinking about here, and this is kind of spiraling off of that a little bit, but how do you think it's going to work out for Disney with the Disney Plus service and still keeping these series to a weekly basis? So you're not going to be able to go binge watch this stuff. At least not at its release, because they're still going to release it in weekly increments.
Well,
so kind of trying to bust the binge mold.
But you'll still be able to time shift your watching, right? I mean,
right.
So that's going to be the important thing for most people, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the DVR experience without having to worry about a DVR.
Exactly. That's going to be the important thing, I think. I got a feeling that a lot of people are going to probably... They might like it because, for instance, Stranger Things, everybody's already watched Stranger Things 3. It's, it's a rare occasion that somebody who watches it hasn't seen all of Stranger Things 3.
Yep, guilty.
Right, same here. So releasing it all at once like that lends itself to, okay, in 2 or 3 nights, you got it all watched and it's over. Okay, so if it's spread out like that, you're forced to, let's be real about it. It's Star Wars. So as soon as it's available and we're able to sit down and watch an episode, we're going to watch it. So it's not like we're going to save up all these episodes for after they're all released and then sit down and watch all of them.
Right. Because one thing, and as I think about it more, having experienced both ends of this, right? Waiting week to week. And each week you're like, oh man, why? What the hell? Like, I don't feel satisfied because like now I got to wait till next week, right?
Right.
But when I just binge watched Stranger Things 3, I get to the end of it and I'm like, what the hell? That's it?
Right.
So there's no difference in satisfaction for me. There really isn't. So because I got it done faster doesn't change my level of satisfaction. I'm still wanting more just as much as if I would have watched it week to week.
Right.
But the problem is that next week I don't have nothing.
Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at, I think, from a business standpoint, right? I'm sure there are some people who, now that Stranger Things is over, will be like, man, I don't even really know what I need my Netflix account for now. So, it's, I'll just get it again in a month or two before Stranger Things 4 comes out. Could happen. So I think from a business standpoint, releasing on a schedule like that, especially if, okay, let's say Mandalorian wraps up and then a couple weeks later you got Clone Wars starting up, right? That sort of thing. Plus all the Marvel stuff and all the, other Disney projects.
Oh, I hope we don't have to wait till the Mandalorian wraps to get Clone Wars.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
But it makes sense from a business standpoint to do it that way.
Well, the hell with that.
I get you, but
this is Star Wars. We're gonna watch it again.
Right.
It's what we do.
It is what we do.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I would say, honestly, that's probably less of a concern. I doubt most people are canceling their Netflix account.
Yeah.
Because of, I gotta wait. And I'm saying that even about people that's all they watch.
Right.
They just let it sit in stasis until the next one comes out. So they're paying for not using it.
Right.
I would say that's the majority. So that, I think, is not really much of a concern. I think most people will keep their subscription regardless on whether they're getting new content at this time or not.
Right.
Just the idea that they're going to get new content is enough to just keep their subscription. And they'll watch something in the meantime occasionally.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think that's much of a concern.
But but
with
go ahead.
now with Disney more than Netflix, that may be more of a thought for people.
Right.
If they could just binge it and then get rid of it, and then binge it and get rid of it, they'd probably do that. Because I would say Disney's a little more of a targeted thing. It's not going to have as much scroll through and like, oh, that seems interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like Netflix has that advantage where they have these rotating movies and things like that you can scroll through and say, oh, that seems interesting. I'll watch that.
Right.
I think Disney's going to have less of that kind of power.
And I think they know that.
Right.
Which lends itself to why they would be having this week-to-week release schedule. Because this will keep Disney Plus more in the forefront of people's mind. If, I got to go back to it every week to watch this show that I want to watch. It's, in my opinion, it's a smart move.
Yeah, it's a smart move. And contrary to what some people will think, it's not an evil move by any point. Like, they got a $15 million an episode series they got to pay for, people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so we could probably go through the theoreticals of this all night.
Right.
But let's move on to this Diego Luna stuff.
Okay.
It was pretty interesting to find out that, okay, we were talking about his draw to the idea of like a streaming service.
Right.
And I gotta say, after reading this, Star Wars has more of a draw than I would have initially thought.
Okay.
Because the title of this article is Diego Luna reveals why Rogue One ending disappointed him.
Oh, disappointed him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the first comment, is when I saw the film the first time, I was so disappointed at the end. And not because of the film.
Okay.
So it wasn't the story that disappointed him.
Gotcha. The whole getting blown up didn't bother him.
Yeah. So he says, my son said, but that's it, Dad, right? That's it. And I go, well, yes, that's the thing about this film. Even though I knew and I understood, I think that's the moment where I really got it. I really realized that a character I loved and a universe I couldn't care more about was done. But the tone of our film, it pays honor to, I believe, the best times of this universe. And obviously, I say the best because it's when I was open and ready to receive that. Those Star Wars films left a very deep mark on me as the audience and as a filmmaker. So the best times, he's obviously referring to the original films.
Gotcha.
And the mark that they left on him, throughout his life.
Right.
So another actor talking about how Star Wars impacted his creative career.
Gotcha.
So that left a mark on him as a aspiring actor.
Well, that seems to be a trend. I mean, like, lots of actors talk about how Star Wars did that for them. Even the journey of Luke Skywalker, right, mm-hmm. is indicative of their journey in filmmaking. So they talk that way. So
yeah, that dream,
right? Yeah, standing there looking up over the horizon at the twin sun setting.
Yeah, just thinking about what's out there.
Exactly.
Yep. That's first off. If I wasn't excited enough about Diego Luna coming back, this helps even more
Yeah, for sure.
because he was disappointed that his character's story was done. Like, he wanted to do more.
Right.
Well, hell, let that guy do more.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it appears as though he's going to get the chance.
Yeah. I mean, any of these actors that are like, wow, this was so much fun. I love this character. I love this story. I want to do more. Well, let them do more.
Right.
It's Cassian was a great character.
Absolutely.
Well, we've talked about Rogue One in recent weeks, just because you rewatched it and told me that, wow, this is a great movie.
Right.
It's like, oh, now I got to go rewatch it. I rewatched it. It's like, wow, it's a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and after hearing about the Mandalorian and what they're putting into that, I can only imagine what they're going to do with the Cassian series.
Right. Yeah, I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of that character we saw, Cassian Andor, towards the beginning of Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that mystery, intrigue, kind of, he's going on these really small stealth missions for the rebellion.
Right.
Information gathering, a lot of stuff like that. It'll be
and a little more as to what got him to that point when he was explaining to Jin about what that meant to him.
Right.
What this rebellion means to him.
Yeah.
So a little more insight into that is going to be really good to get.
Totally agree. That'll be awesome.
And not only that, but another thing that's like really exciting for me about this is Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
Because not only Star Wars, but Firefly.
Right. So here's another thought I've had on this Cassian series. It's something that's popped into my brain, and I thought, see what you think. Do you think there's the possibility that, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like it from Rogue One, maybe there could be some interactions with, let's say, Saw Gerrera? Could we see him in there, at some point?
Well, I mean, Cassian obviously had knowledge of Saw.
Yeah, knew of him, for sure.
Yeah, knew of his tendencies.
Right.
So, yeah, I could see that. And Saw is a character that they're not really like keeping him to the side.
Right.
He's shown up.
Yeah, they're
He
pretty willing to
Rebels.
use him. Yeah.
Yeah, they got him to show up in Rebels. He's going to show up in Jedi Fallen Order.
Right.
So they're willing to use the character. And Forrest Whitaker seems more than willing to play the character.
Right.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit to see Saw pop up in this.
Which I think would be really cool. 'Cause I really like Forrest Whitaker as an actor. And,
Yes.
I think the character is really well done as well. So,
And it would be an interesting, not only is Cassian dealing with the Empire, but he's also dealing with this differing viewpoint of how to do things.
right.
in Saw.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be something that Lucasfilm is really trying to convey to us. Sometimes it feels like, we get it, but they do seem to be going on that road of trying to convey to us that all of these stories are far more complicated than we originally thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this would be a way to help show that, you know, and
Right.
it wouldn't be doing it in a way that, you know, made you feel like my voice sounded a minute ago.
Yeah, like it is a really interesting dynamic that they're showing with this, that, you know, Cassian and the rebellion feel that this is the right way to go about it with a different set of morals
Right.
than Saw Gerrera and his, you know, version of a rebellion.
His by any means necessary version. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter what it means on the morality scale.
Right.
So yeah, that's a really cool dynamic and something I really hope they explore.
Yeah.
That Cassian series,
That'd be cool.
because that would add even more depth to Cassian telling Jin, like, you really don't understand where I'm coming from here.
Yeah. You haven't had to do some of the stuff I've had to do in order for us to get here right now. Yeah. Absolutely.
And not only that, but the stuff I've had to do compared to this other guy,
Yeah.
this guy that you've been in league with.
Right.
So don't talk to me about morality right now. You know, like,
Exactly. Yeah.
so yeah, I think that's a neat dynamic.
Yeah. I do too.
It's something I hope they explore.
A lot of that. Yeah. Can't wait to see it.
All right, so one last thing. You know, they do the Disney Legends.
Hmm?
The Disney Legends they do at the like D23, things like that. They
Oh,
honor-
right. Yeah.
So this year's Disney Legends, really no shocker, and a ton of Star Wars connection. James Earl Jones
Nice.
and Jon Favreau.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Jon Favreau, obviously, his involvement with Iron Man, the Avengers, now the Lion King, Jungle Book, you know, he's really been involved.
Yeah.
So he's already escalated himself to a Disney legend.
Wow. It's funny.
Pretty impressive.
It's funny you say Lion King when you say James Earl Jones. That's
Yep.
when I think Lion King. Really, it's wow. Okay.
Yep, and I think that has a lot to do with all of this.
Right.
Is both of them are involved in this new version of the Lion King that's coming out this week.
Ah, yes.
So that announcement is pretty conveniently timed.
Yeah. It's elevates them to a Disney legend status and promotes their movie. So yeah, that works out well.
Yep. Well, we've said this many times tonight from a business point of view.
Right.
This is a great idea.
Yeah.
But I can't argue with those two at all.
No, totally.
You know, Jon Favreau's definitely shown his talent as both a filmmaker and even acting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no reason why he shouldn't be there. And then, come on, it's James Earl Jones.
Right.
James Earl Jones and the word legend just go together.
This is a true statement.
It doesn't matter if it's a Disney legend or just the word legend.
Right.
That's James Earl Jones.
I was going to say, I think, James Earl Jones, the film icon. That was a thing before there was any involvement with Disney. But yeah, now that he has had so much involvement with Disney, also true statement. So
Right. I mean, James Earl Jones is probably one of the most iconic voices in cinema history.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, no one hears his voice in whatever he's done and doesn't recognize that as James Earl Jones.
Right.
You know, it's that's Mufasa or that's Darth Vader. There's a connection that everyone can make.
Right.
So I think the James Earl Jones thing goes without saying. Like I said, legend and James Earl Jones are synonymous.
That's for sure.
So, yeah, no argument from me on either of these.
No, me neither. It's very cool, and congratulations to both.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, it's been fun.
It has.
But I think we got to call it there.
Yeah.
If you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. But we're also on social media, @thewarsandmore on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. And you can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
Right. We will talk next week.